Today we're doing a New York City apartment hunting video, which is basically a recap of my very last minute search for apartments in New York City, which I did in March 2023. So I'm going to talk about the New York City rental market in general, my requirements, and also show you like the different apartments I got to look at and the apartment I decided to choose, aka the one I'm actually living in right now. Just like every other New York City apartment hunting video, I wanted to put a disclaimer. I know that living in New York City is expensive. I know it's like outrageous, and that if I were to live in Texas, because my cousins live there and they tell me this all the time, I could use that same money to get a house. But I do not want to have a house with 10 dogs in Texas. I want to live in New York City while I'm able to afford it, while I am young enough to actually enjoy it. So that's like the end of the conversation there. The search is concentrated in Long Island City, which is in the Queensboro. It is like right across the water from Midtown East. I'll put like a map here. The apartments tend to be like a better value for what you pay for. Like you get like bigger windows. What I like about LIC though, it's a really like homey neighborhood. There are a lot of like families. So since I was like looking for apartments in March, it is like kind of off season. I know that like January to like April, it's like the cheapest you'll ever get for New York, and summer is when the price just goes off the roof. The prices now are not cheap, but they get like atrociously like more expensive in the summer. This is my 5th search and I didn't want to pay a broker, so I was looking at no fee buildings. I also was not looking at co-op. So co-ops tend to have like a higher application fee, and they tend to allow you to stay in the apartment for at least a year. Given how turbulent my life is, I don't know how long I'm going to stay in this apartment. I did not think it was very cost effective to be looking at co-ops, so I was looking for no fee buildings where I wouldn't have to go through a broker, ideally. I will probably get flamed, and I rightfully should get flamed, but my budget was $3,200 including an amenities fee, because I know some buildings they have the rent and then they have an additional amenity fee on top of it. I didn't want a building with amenity fee because from my experience, although these buildings are really nice, I don't really use the amenities maybe like once in a year anyways. So obviously if it was below 3K, I'd be like so happy, but I'm also well aware that this is not like pre-pandemic time. I also concentrated my search to just 5 apartments because I did not want to lose my mind. I know there are a lot of people who look at like 20 apartments in a day. I just wanted to get it done and over with, so I just looked at like 5 apartments and I tried to get it done within like a few hours, just because I wanted to reserve my mental sanity. So now let's look at my requirements. I was looking for studios particularly. I wanted something that was less than 600 square feet because from my experience living in a bigger space by myself felt kind of scary at times, so I wanted to live in a smaller apartment where I could see all corners. That was like the baseline I was working from. First criteria was a workable layout. So I needed an apartment that had like a square/rectangular layout. The reason why I wanted a square/rectangular layout was because they tend to have like more walls, so you could have more space to put in furniture. I know there are studios where half of the wall is a kitchen and your bed would essentially be in front of like your dishwasher or sink, and I did not want that. The second criteria, which was very important to me, was sunlight. I am basically a sunflower. I'm like a plant. I will die without sunlight. This is something I had to learn the hard way. In one of the 6 apartments I previously lived in, my window was facing a brick wall. My mental health takes a plunge in the winter, and not having sunlight does not help. So that was like a non-negotiable for me. I wasn't really picky about like where the window was facing, ideally south, but west/east was also okay. So the third one is a workable kitchen. By workable kitchen, it means a kitchen where I actually have some cutting space and a dishwasher. So I'm really picky about this because again, I learned the hard way that there are some like New York City apartments that they have like all the appliances you need, but there's no cutting space, and like every time you want to cut something, it becomes kind of like a challenge. I would pay more for proper cutting space. And I also wanted a dishwasher because I am lazy and I'm just lazy. The fourth one is I wanted a building with elevator. it becomes a bit of a hassle if you have like luggage or if you have big packages. And my fifth criteria was closet space. I wanted something with proper closet space. I've lived in apartments that were like 1 bedroom or like big apartments. They didn't have proper closet space, so I ended up having to buy a lot of like furniture from IKEA, and I did not want to spend more money on furniture, so I wanted something where I could actually hang all my clothes. Reading my criteria makes me feel a little crazy because I know these are like essentials, or maybe like they're just naturally there if you're in like other apartments outside of New York, but you actually have to spell these things out. If not, you're not gonna get them. I'll look at the videos that I looked at and I'll tell you how much they cost and why I didn't end up going with them as well. These buildings that I looked at were all like kind of near to each other, so I'm gonna look at the videos as I'm talking to you. The first unit I looked at was a renovated studio with ample sunshine. They were south-facing windows. Although they were facing a parking lot, the unit had all new appliances, a new fridge, a new dishwasher. It had ample of closet space. When you walked in on your right, you'd see like closet space, and there was like one big closet space inside the living area. The bathroom was also really nice and pretty spacious. Everything was pretty nice about this. It was in a building with a gym, a rooftop. You had to pay like an additional $70 in amenities fee, I believe. The rent itself was around $31.50, which was kind of pricey given that I have to pay for an additional amenities fee. Water and heat was not included in the bill. It might have been another $100 in cost every month. The unit itself is really nice and I really liked it. I was kind of like tempted to go a little over my budget, although it was not like the smart thing to do, but I felt like the search was off to a great start. Okay, the second apartment I looked at was $3,200. It also did not include the $70 amenities fee, and also water and heat was not included. It is also in an older building with a gym, but I wanted to take a look just to like kind of gauge how I was feeling and just like look at the apartment since I was already in the area. It is not a renovated studio, so the tiles, the kitchen was kind of old, the appliances were all old. It had a wash and dryer and laundry. Most of my apartments don't have that. I feel like I haven't been spoiled by it, so I didn't really like care too much about it. It had a walk-in closet, which was really nice, and it had all the shelvings. So I really liked the closet layout, and the view was off like the water, and you could just see the city, unobstructed view, and it was really pretty. It was also south-facing windows, and it was really quiet. The only problem was it was slightly gonna be over my budget, and also I was not in love with the kitchen. Like, that didn't have like the cutting space I was talking about. Like, yes, it had cutting space, but it was like if I had put my air fryer and like blender there, then I would start having to fight for cutting space, which I did not want. So I ended up passing on this one as well. But what I really liked, even though the bathroom was like not brand new, was it had a lot of shelving. I think that from all the 5 apartments I looked at, this was the only bathroom with 5 vanity mirrors, 5 shelvings, meaning that I would not have to like scramble to find place to put all of my beauty things. So I went to the third apartment, which was $2,900, including water, heat, and amenities fee, which is a way better deal compared to like the first 2 apartments I looked at. The layout was really great. There was separation between the kitchen and also the living area, meaning that if you're in a living space like your bed, you wouldn't be able to see the kitchen. The kitchen was really nice. It was like nicely renovated. There's a lot of like place to store your stuff, kitchen appliances, and also there's a lot of cutting space. The bathroom, however, only had 1 vanity mirror, which was something I wasn't really a fan of. It was a decent sized bathroom. The view was pretty nice as well. I believe the windows were west facing. The only problem with this unit though was the closet space. It only had 1 closet, so it was like 1 closet with like 2 doors that you could pull over. The problem with this was it means that I would have to put my Swiffer, my winter coats, and all my clothes there. And as much as I have Marie Kondoed my life, and as much as I try to not own a lot of things, I admittedly do own quite a lot of clothes. So I think it would be really hard to like just live with 2 closets. And although this was a really good deal, I had to say no. And I was just on to my next unit. This next unit is $31.70. It was excluding a $50 amenities fee, but this building had a tennis court. The rent included water and heat and sewer. This was the newest, like, well-renovated building amongst like all the buildings in the LIC waterfront area. And I could see it, like, it had like built-in lights. It had a really nice fridge. It had lights in the kitchen, like special lights. There was also a lot of closet space. The flooring was nice as well, and the bathroom was really big and bright. I thought this was really extremely nice as well. Windows were east facing, but ultimately I thought it was a little too expensive. The biggest plus side of this unit was its bathroom and its kitchen. I don't know if I cook enough or will be in a bathroom enough for it to be worth it, so obviously moved on. Again, that one was unfortunately not the one. I'm gonna show you the layout of the apartment that I currently live in. So when I walked in, these were like west facing windows. I could feel the beams of the sunlight all at the door, which, you know, it was already a good sign there and then it had really nice views of like the river, slightly obstructed views by like a billboard, but I thought the view was still very nice. Big closets. The kitchen was an open kitchen, which meant that I could have people over. I could put bar stools there, and the kitchen had so much space. It had its own cupboard to put in more appliances. The rest of the living space was square and it was so much space, and I really liked it. It was $30.50 including water, heat, sewer bill, and no amenities fee. And I just knew it made sense price wise, and the unit was gorgeous, and I just was like, I love it. So those were the 5 apartments I viewed in the LIC waterfront area. I personally really like living in this neighborhood. There's a library, there's so many groceries, and there's so many dogs and children and just like families here that it's such a good vibe, and people here are so happy all the time. Tell me which apartment you would have chosen, and I will have a few more apartment get-together videos, and I hope you like this one. Bye. Thanks for watching.